I am not an ordinary man. I am a ghost hunter. My job is to go to places where people think 100 times before stepping in. Places where the heartbeat accelerates the moment you enter, and where fear mixes into the air as soon as night falls. Because of this work, I once traveled to Egypt, the land of deserts, pyramids, and tombs thousands of years old. But Egypt is not just history and mystery. There is something else there, something that is still alive, something that does not like humans trespassing into its territory. I saw with my own eyes how an unnatural silence breathes among the ruins, how secrets buried beneath the sand awakened during the cold desert nights, and how someone was constantly watching me from behind the walls of ancient tombs without ever being seen. Reaching that place made me realize that some doors never truly close and some spirits never sleep. Every step felt like someone was walking right behind me, counting my breaths, waiting for the perfect moment. What I witnessed that night shook my soul to its core. Somehow I managed to escape Egypt alive, but the fear did not stay there. It came back with me. Even today there are nights when I feel Egypt calling me again, as if that shadow still wants me to complete an unfinished story. So, if you are watching this video, stay till the end, because today I am going to tell you that terrifying story of Egypt, a story that erases the line between truth and imagination, and after hearing it, you might never feel truly alone in the dark again. This incident dates back to the year 2017. I had gone to Egypt for a special investigation. Two of my close friends were with me, David and Michael. All three of us were interested in paranormal phenomena, but I pursued this work professionally. We had not only heard stories, but had also seen with our own eyes that even today, 3,000-year-old mummies are found in Egypt. There was a strange restlessness inside me, a pull, as if I might find spirits connected to the other world there, the very entities I had been searching for all these years. Driven by that obsession, the three of us reached Egypt. At exactly 10 p.m., we arrived near an area in Egypt where entry was strictly forbidden for ordinary people. We stepped out of our vehicles and looked around. That night, Egypt felt different, terrifying, mysterious, and deeply unsettling. There was no human presence as far as the eye could see, no sound of animals, not even the whisper of wind. Just endless desert, cold air, and a heavy silence spread all around. In the middle of that silence, only the three of us stood there. David said in a low voice, "This place doesn't feel right." And Michael kept turning back again and again. To be honest, I was scared too at that moment, but I controlled myself. I reassured both of them and decided to move forward. We entered an ancient tunnel. In my mind, I had made up my resolve. I would uncover the truth behind this mystery of Egypt today. I would find out whether spirits truly still exist here. As we went deeper into the tunnel, we seemed to descend further into the depths of Egypt itself. The outside world felt left behind. There was pitch darkness all around. Nothing was visible even at a distance. I switched on my torch and we slowly moved ahead. But with every step, the growing silence became even more terrifying, because we were standing in a place that had remained unchanged for thousands of years, exactly the same as it was during the time of the pharaohs. This was the very place where the pharaohs of ancient Egypt were once buried. To put it plainly, it was a graveyard. The graveyard of the pharaohs. My breathing grew heavy. David's fingers tightened around his torch, and Michael's voice trembled slightly. Still, the three of us kept moving forward slowly, and then suddenly the beam of our torches froze at one spot. The three of us looked at each other, because in front of us there was a coffin. It was not made of ordinary wood. It was carved from black stone, its surface etched with strange and terrifying symbols, marks that looked as if someone had viciously scratched the stone with their nails. What was even more shocking was that while the entire tunnel was filled with sand, the ground around that coffin was completely clear, as if that spot had been deliberately kept untouched. The moment I focused my torchlight on it, a strange chill ran through my body. My heart began pounding violently, and in that instant, I clearly felt that we were standing before something that should have remained buried centuries ago. That was when David said in a trembling voice that he felt the coffin move. I was about to tell him that it was probably his imagination, but the very next moment, a heavy banging sound came from inside the coffin, so clear and terrifying that there was no room left for doubt. Michael panicked and stepped back, his breathing completely out of control. And honestly, in that moment, my fear was not that of a professional investigator, but of an ordinary human being. Suddenly, the lid of the coffin began to slide open on its own, slowly, without any hands, without any support. As a rotten, bandage-wrapped hand emerged from inside, my spine went numb. It was human, yet it did not look human. Long, broken nails, skin torn and peeling in places, and a stench so sharp it became difficult to breathe. Then the entire figure emerged, a mummy. Its eyes were open, not empty, but as if it could still see, still think. The most horrifying part was the strange, breathing-like sound coming from its chest as though it was still alive. At that very moment, our torches went out one by one, and the entire tunnel plunged into pitch darkness. In that darkness, only the sound of our panicked breathing echoed, along with the scraping noise of something heavy being dragged across the ground. Michael screamed and ran in terror, but within seconds, his voice was suddenly cut off, as if someone had crushed his throat. I desperately tried to grab David's hand, but there was nothing there but empty air. Then, right next to my ear, someone whispered in a very low, cold, and heavy voice that we should not have come here. It sounded human, but it did not belong to any living person. Somehow, I managed to switch on my torch, and what I saw before my eyes shook my soul to its core. David was lying on the ground, his eyes open, but seeing nothing. There were deep marks on his neck, as if someone had gripped him with immense force. And then I realized the mummy was standing right in front of me, so close that if I even breathed, it could feel it. I ran for my life. I kept running through the tunnel, but every turn looked the same, as if the place was not changing at all, as if time itself had stopped. My breath was breaking, my legs began to give up, and then a heavy sound came from behind and slammed me to the ground. After that, everything suddenly went silent. When I opened my eyes, I was lying outside the tunnel. Morning had arrived and the Egyptian security team was there. Michael was never found. David was declared dead. The official report called it an accident. Fear, suffocation, and lack of oxygen. But that report did not contain the truth that I know. Even today, there are blue marks on my wrist that no doctor has been able to explain. And every night, when silence fills the air, I hear that same heavy whisper I heard in the tunnel. That some places, some mysteries, and some things are not meant for humans, and whoever tries to awaken them never truly returns.